Hey, buddies. Hi. Welcome, buddies. This is episode 8 of Weird Blues Tales, where I tell you stories of things that happened to me, true stories that are bizarre and unusual most of the time. Doing episode 8 today. It's going to be a continuation, sort of episode 7, where I told you about the interdimensional doorway house. I'm going to tell you a few more stories about that house, because a lot of things happened in that house, and I thought maybe I'd share those with you. I moved in there with my Canadian lady, and it was kind of funny. We went to the open house and, submitted our application to rent the place, and they said, hey, we got this other guy, and he just looks a little better. We're going to rent it to him. So we're like, oh, bummer. So a couple months later, they called us back and said, hey, you were always our second choice. You want to rent that place? We're like, yeah, sure. So what happened was the guy they rented it to, he paid first and last. They never saw him again. And he had a Great Dane. The Great Dane just tore up the backyard, made it to where it was all mud. So we got in there and we fixed it up. But yeah, nobody really heard from that guy again. And he didn't tell anybody he was leaving. He just left. Okay. So that house was the old farmhouse that sat on this hill before they built all these other houses, newer houses around it. That was the original farmhouse, and there used to be a cellar, and they built like a porch from the back door around the cellar, and then dug into the cellar and made that the basement. Okay, so that's where my stairway came from. Was 100 years ago, that was like outside. You would have been a back door, and you would have stepped down, and there would have been a cellar door that opened off the ground, sort of. But yeah, they made like a little stairway, doorway thing with a back door, and then the stairway went down, it turned in front of the back door, and then it went down into the basement. They dug a basement. So it was an old house. It had those old keyhole, keyhole shaped keys on the doors, and yeah, it was old. But anywho, uh, we lived there. A lot of strange things happened. I went to hand her the rent check one day, and it fell between us, and there was nothing in between us, but the check just disappeared. And I found it probably about 10 years later, stuck behind a TV, like not even close to where it fell, in another corner of a different place. Yeah, it was really weird. Stuck like by centrifugal force. Not centrifugal force, excuse me. Static electricity. Anyhow, yeah, this house was really strange. And one night we went to bed, me and the Canadian lady. And woke up in the middle of the night because there was like this weird orange glow in the room. And I woke up and I looked out the window. The window was like right next to my head where I slept. And I got up and I looked out the window, and the whole neighborhood was lit up orange. Like this orange pink glow thing. I mean, it was like really weird. Really weird. So I tried to wake Lori up, the Canadian lady, and I couldn't wake her up. And I'm looking, and all the lights are out in the neighborhood. Like, people's porch lights and stuff like that. There's nothing. Everything's dark. And I look, and there's like this big, dark shadow, like up above. I couldn't really see, right? But I was going to get up and go look. And as I got to get up, I got all weak and stuff, and I couldn't go. I laid back down, and it stayed orange until I fell back asleep. And then I woke up in the morning, I was on top of the covers. And yeah, I mean, that was pretty weird. And then later on, after 9/11, the Canadian lady went back to Canada, and I was living there by myself. And one day I was walking through the living room, and I had this little knickknack shelf that had all these like glass pipes and rock crystals and just, cool looking little things. And there was like 3 shelves, and underneath that was like a bookshelf, right? And I walked by it, and I walked maybe 20 feet from it at least. I had this really weird feeling, and I turned around and I looked at it, and all of a sudden, one by one, things started jumping off that shelf. Not like thrown violently, but there was like a lip where the bookshelf was. So, I mean, if they were just gonna like fall off, they would have hit that shelf, that lower shelf, and then hit the floor. But they were being propelled far enough to where they missed the lower shelf by, a good foot to 18 inches. And I'm just sitting there watching, and it's like one by one. So I waited for it to stop, and I picked it up, and I kind of, looked around, and I said, hey, I don't know what's going on, but, I really don't need this grief, please, leave me alone. So that didn't happen again, but um, later on, towards the end of before I moved out of there, maybe 3 years or so before I moved out, I had these spells for a few months where I'd go to bed and I'd wake up and something would be pulling on my sheets, my covers and stuff. Be pulling my covers off of, and a couple of times they'd be like flapping like there was a strong wind, and and this would like last like, I don't know, 15 minutes or so. And I mean, that was kind of frightening. That was kind of the only thing that really scared me there. It was kind of frightening. And one night I said, "What do you want?" And I was sitting up. I wasn't laying down. I was sitting up against the wall with my knees up, and the covers were flapping like there was a strong wind. And I said, "What do you want?" And there was like this thing came in this arm and like poked me like 3 times, like, "You." Yeah, that house was really, really bizarre. And people, why didn't you move out? Why didn't you move out? Well, number one, I hate moving. And number two, I didn't really blame the house for the most part. I thought that somebody was attacking me psychically, and that was true. So I guess it was like the perfect storm. The house was kind of, bizarre and had some quirk stuff going on, like the stairway where the people lived in that stairway and showed themselves to me. Their dog was drinking out of my toilet in episode 7. If you haven't seen that, you should. That's a good one. So the house had that happen, and it was like there was portals, like a bird was flying around down there. But it was really cool. There was all kinds of stuff. I had a garden, I had a vegetable garden, I had a pot grow that was legal. It was like perfect for my needs. The rent was reasonable. I put a lot of work into the backyard, made it really super nice. And like I said, I didn't really blame the house that much. I was under this psychic attack. There was some evil people that don't like me that were doing this stuff and kind of getting ahead there. So that's why I didn't move out. But yeah, finally I had to move out because the landlord like doubled the rent. But yeah, eventually I had to move out, and ended up moving to this place called Silver Plum, which is going to be another episode because that place turned out to be weird. So I'll be telling you that one soon, but that's it for episode 8. Please like and share and subscribe, please. I would like to keep this going. I have the Weird Blues Tales here. I keep trying to keep them out a little more regular. I apologize. I'm really going to try to do it regular. I'm going to try to get some plain music videos out with just me playing, because you guys said you like that, so we'll do that too. And I just really thank you all for being here and enjoying the Weird Blues Tales. And I'll see you next time. And I love you all very much. And I hope you take care of yourself and take care of each other. And I'll see you next time on Weird Blues Tales.